G'day, welcome back to part 2 of my cast aluminium vise build. I'd like to welcome all my new subscribers and I hope you enjoy the content on my channel. Alrighty, so I left you off last time. I was in the middle of milling the sides, so follow me back over to the mill and we'll get on with things. Alrighty, so while you guys weren't looking, I've chopped this thing down so it won't bunch up in the back anymore. And I've taken the two little screws out of the front and this little piece I made up as a marker for the micrometer dial, just so I can get across here the thickness of those a little bit more. Time to get into it. Alright, now I'll raise it back up and make some cuts down this side here. Give me lift it up a bit so that I can put that round in the bottom. It's having a bit of a sing, so I might clamp this outside edge down again. See if that improves things. Not really. Alrighty, that was a much heavier cut and I was having to take it a lot slower because it was really noisy. Anyway, so now I'll change over to that other tool and finish the side, put it around in there. These bits I can't reach here. I've been thinking I think I have room to, when I can clamp it down using the bolts in here, I'll machine them off on an angle, same angle as this, just to get rid of that bit there. Alrighty, so I've fitted up this tool. Because I can't cut the full height here, I cut from there to there. I just know I did a bit of a test cut and I noticed it is rubbing up there just a little bit. So I might use just a little bit of WD-40 on this one. Well, it's not a very nice finish, but I can clean that up later on. Just sand it a bit, smooth it out. I did go down a little deeper with this cutter, so I'll clean the table up and I'll run it over there before I go back around the other side. Alrighty, thought I'd save a little bit of video time and do most of this before I start to record it. So this will be the last pass, fairly fine one compared to the last couple. It should finish it off, and then I'll have to knock that off and run over the top of there. Alrighty, that should now be the same width as the old one, if I've got everything right. This is a second-hand cutter, which probably, it's not real sharp, which probably amounts to some of this rubbish here, but I think I'll just give it a sand and get rid of that stuff. Just sand it up, make it look nice, and I'm finished. I'm back to standing in the sun now, so definitely got to do something about putting some sort of shade in here. I've got a big vinyl banner that a friend gave me I can hang up there. I'll have to get up there and do that, I think. Alright, let's move this thing over here a bit. Make it run down there. It's not leaving the nicest of finishes, but like I said, I'll just give it a sand and clean it up when I'm done. Alright, now one thing I didn't do that I said I was going to do before I did these was mill the centre out. But like I said, I'm standing in the sun now and my feet are baking, so I think I'll leave that till tomorrow. Alrighty, it's another miserable overcast day here today. and it's bloody shopping day as well, so I thought I'd try and sneak this bit in and before we leave to do that. This is the drawer I saved, and you can see it's got these two bits that stick out here. So I want to just run around the inside of this. I've got that dag that's on the inside here, bit there, so I want to machine as much of that off as I can and just clean up these sides, clean up that. Now that will need some more machined out in here, but I want to try and maintain this flat surface just here if I can, so that'll have to be done from underneath, from the bottom, so that can actually move up far enough under there. This pin was easy enough to get. It was just held in there with a knurled section, but I've cleaned it up a bit. I've obviously hit it a couple of times in the past, gone down through here with a drill or something, and this bit, it's actually got a steel nut cast into it, so it's not threaded into the aluminium, but I've got to clean all the bottom off that yet so that I can bolt it onto the top of here. And there is, like I said, there's plenty of room here to machine that corner off, I think. So we'll do that. I won't be doing that today, I don't think, but we'll get in and we'll clean this bit up in here. Oh, I was just checking what I've got. This is a nice brand new 10mm carbide. Because of the height of this, like I said, I probably should knock the top off it because it is too high, but I don't want to knock it off too much because I wouldn't mind a bit more depth in here with these jaws. So I've got a 10mm which will get me down past here, help me knock that off. This end I can get down in there with a much smaller 3 or 4mm one and just clean the corners up a bit. Might be able to get in here once I clean up underneath from the bottom and clean that corner up, but we'll see how we go. Wrong way. I've still got to run across here and square that back up yet too. I don't really want to go much deeper than that. Bloody idiot, I didn't put the clamp back on this side. God, I have to square it back up again now. Shit. Oh, come back here. Well, it's probably just as well that happened because I hadn't checked. The cutter wouldn't have quite reached the back, I don't think. So if I cleaned things up, moved it forward and retrammed it. So ready to rock and roll. I'll run it into that big dag in there. It might pay to come up and chop down on it, I think. Well, I think that'll do. Water meter guys here. I've got a feeling I saw that move at one stage, so I might have to, it'd be best to retram this again, I think, before I run them back across that face. But it's time to take the cheese and kisses shopping, so I'll do that after we come back. Alrighty, shopping's done and out of the way for another week. It's just starting to rain here now too. So I've retrammed this. If it moved, it didn't move much, so let's have a go. Well, that's that all squared up. The original, the old vise actually had quite a huge undercut just in here. But anyway, that will do. It's only just nicked it. You can just feel that, and that's all. Alright. these are all cheapo 1, 2, 3 or 25, 50, 75 blocks and not all that flat, but anyway, that's close enough for me. Alrighty, so I've set it up on these two 1, 2, 3 blocks, but I couldn't get this up against there because the bolt in here was hitting this, so I've just had to put my rule in there and just butted it up against that. Hopefully that'll be good enough for what I want to do here. Only cutting slots in here, facing the bottom off, and milling a bit out in here for that pin and everything, and facing off the back. So I'll get on with that. I'm going to do this stationary first. It'll take all day. Well, I don't think I'm going to get all these inclusions out of here. That one shouldn't even be there. I don't know what happened there. I had it sitting on the bench, and when I went to pick it up, there must have been a bit of super glue or something on the bench because it had glued it down, and when I pulled it up it broke a piece out of there. Just got a little bit over on that edge there. Move it over slightly, see if I can get rid of that. Alright, I'll make one more pass I think, because like I said, I'd like to get all these out, but I'm not going to. Got the worst of them out. It's a lighter cut than what I've been taking. Well, that's it for facing the bottom off. I still didn't get that edge there, but I'll mill that off right up the sides. Alright. Alrighty, so next go off the rank will be to clean this ender. Still a lot of pinholes in that. Can't afford to take too much more off. Might make one more pass. That's an enormous amount of pinholes in there. But that side's the part that had the filler in it. It's got lots of glue in there, so that could be part of it, because that's got the most. Well, considering I don't have a mill other than this thing that's that long, or that 5/8 one, which probably wouldn't do much better, I think I'll just sand that smooth rather than trying to mill it smooth. That actually doesn't feel that rough. Alright, so now I'll put a cutter in there and mill these sides and then do the slots. I can't take a trip some days. Just been checking what I can reach where this is sitting now, and I can't reach that end. I just ran this roughing cutter up that side, stopped a good 1/2 inch from the end, won't go far enough that way, and I can only get across to about here somewhere, so I can't cut this outside edge. So I'm going to have to take it all off there and retrim it. I couldn't be bothered doing that this afternoon, so I'll do that tomorrow. Alrighty, this is another very wet, very miserable looking day here today. It's been raining most of the night, and it stopped raining here 10 minutes ago, and I've actually put the damn banner up over there to try and stop the rain coming in here. Anyway, I've reset this up this morning. Just can't get the travel out of it I need. So what I've done is I've bolted both of these down and trimmed both of them in. So what I'm going to do is do the work on this side and then turn it around and then bolt it back down, do this side over there. It's about the only option I've got. Let's get on with that. Well listen, this will take too long. I won't bother videoing that part. I'll start the video again while I flip it around. Well, that's that side finished. Flip it around now and do the other side. Well, almost done, but the battery's about to go flat. Alrighty, now that we've got these slots sorted out, it's time to dress this up a little more in here and put that relief in there for the end of this. I think this is going to take quite a while, so I'll bring you back later. I'm nearly finished. Viewers, I don't mind telling you that halfway through chomping that out of there, I was wishing the hell I had allowed for that in the casting and just left it out. Maybe just had to clean it up a bit. In the end, I cut it 3 passes down that way, and then came in 3 passes down, 3 passes down, and then just milled the bottom and ran around the inside of it. But with that roughing cutter, I've still got to do this end the same treatment yet. But not looking forward to it. Alrighty, another wet miserable day today. There's 5 of them in a row and they're forecasting another 5. About a gutful of it, we should go away. Alright, so I've machined all this out in here so that this will get all the way up and back. I'm going to use a couple of pieces of this, make the jaws a bit higher. I'll have to mill it down. And it's time to get on with the rest of it. Now, this bit here, I'm going to mill it down to just above the jaws and leave that hole in there and try and mill that flat on the back. That will give me somewhere to use a transfer punch to mark where the bar has to go instead of me working it out. This will get a little long, this video, so I'll just mill that and I'll come back to you when I'm done and show you what I want to do with it. Alrighty, so I've knocked the bottom off that. Actually chewed into the that steel nut that's in here as well. This has got a bit of a bow in it, that thing, but this is reasonably flat now. I was going to chop that off altogether and just bolt this thing straight down into there, but when I milled this out, it didn't leave me much material in here, so I'm thinking I might leave that on there. Bolt it on the end, like down through here, and a couple more in here, just to give it some extra strength. But that hole there now gives me somewhere to locate where that shaft's got to go. So I'll go away and make sure I've got that in the right spot and get back to you. Alrighty, decided that I would knock these corners off before I go fitting that up on the end. These bubbles in here, pretty sure I know what that is now. Most of it's at this end, which was the top where I poured it. So I think what this is, you know, fumes and bubbles and stuff that was escaping up the casting as I was pouring it. Couldn't get beyond here because in the centre is where the sprue was, so they got trapped up underneath the 2 corners. So that's pretty sure that's what that is. Alrighty, so I drilled this yesterday afternoon. It's got that just about where I want it. Didn't want it too tight. Problem is, and I can't use that old shaft. It's too short. So I've got this piece of 10mm linear shaft, which will fits in there very nicely. I'll use a bit of that. Problem is, I can't reach down in there to drill it, so I'm going to have to flip this bugger around and drill it from the other side. Luckily, because this is a nice smooth pin, I've managed to take some measurements this morning, so from the bottom up and from this side in will give me where I need to be. So that's what I'm going to drill it to, and hopefully it will be in the right place. Well, didn't come out as close as I would have liked. That's about how it fitted up originally, but at least it's dead centre this way, maybe about 0.2 or 0.3, maybe too far out this way. But anyway, I can live with that, I think. Don't mess around it anymore. So that's that part of it done. Alrighty, so while you weren't looking, I knocked up a couple of jaws out of that piece of steel I showed you a little earlier, and now I've got to do something about drilling them. The old jaws screwed on from the front, but this one I'll suffer the same problem. I've checked it all out, spent a bit of time playing around with it. I can't get down in there to drill holes through here into there, so I'm going to have to work out just where I want these screws and then drill it through here and in the back. I'll leave them blind like I did in this chuck here. And this one here, I think I might I could still attach them like that, but I think I might just drill these holes all the way through and attach them back through this way. That's what I'm going to do. If you've enjoyed watching me make this vise, then how about doing me a favour and smashing that like button and giving it a great big thumbs up. At this point in time, I'm really glad that I raised this head up, because that just fits in there, and that's all. Oh, look at that wobble. Oh my God. Alrighty, one jaw down, one to go. I just pulled the jaw off this one, the old jaw. They're even saving weight and money in this one. Unbelievable. But anyway, it's going to means I can't countersink these in the back much, otherwise I'll break into that hole. That's pretty low down here. We'll see how we go. This one I've already drilled and tapped the 4 holes on the end. So once I've drilled and tapped these two, machine a little couple of steps in here. I'm hoping that's not bloody hollow somehow, but I don't think it will be. 2 little pads in there, 2 bolts going this way. Decided that I'm going to put some of that epoxy on this surface and this surface before I bolt it down, just as a bit of added strength. But anyway, that's where we are, so we'll get on with that. I'm nearly done. Alrighty, so once again, while you weren't looking, I've drilled and tapped these through into here. Because of the lack of room in here, I went down to an M5, and even then I still, just in one of them, I broke into that cavity that's inside the jaw, and I've milled the top off and milled across the ends, screw them all up, and I've been up in here and milled down into here. I wanted to use an M6 in here, but an M6 bolt head's 10mm. M5 is about 8.5, so that's as far as I can go, because I'm actually nicking the nut, that steel nut in there on both sides, so I don't want to go in there much more. So next up I'll get in there with the centre drillers and centre drill both of these, use an M5 bolt in there. Alrighty, so I drilled and tapped those 2 holes, bolted this up with some of this epoxy underneath it, and filled in the last of the few holes I didn't get the first time round. So just wait for that to dry, and I've just been through and a couple of little burrs I've got tidied up the inside of it. I'm not going to worry about that too much. It's a bit of a out of sight, out of mind kind of thing, isn't it? So I'll get all that sanded off, give it another light sand. I've already sanded it all once, and then I'll give it a coat of paint and I think it will be done. While I think of it, there's a pretty good chance that next weekend I won't be putting up a video, because I need to do some maintenance on the lathe that I've been putting off. There's a couple of modifications, small ones, that I'd like to make to the mill, all of which I don't think are worth making videos about. If anything turns into a bit of a chore, I might turn it into a bit of a short video, but other than that, I don't think there will be one. So just I'll be looking for one. Well, there it is, viewers, in all its sparkling glory. I have to admit that it was a bit more work than I was expecting it to be, but I'm incredibly happy with the way it's turned out, and it should serve me well, I think. Before anyone jumps all over me about this being a vise for the mill, it's not. I might use it in here for machining small aluminium parts or something like that, but predominantly it will be used in the drill press. I also use the old one a fair bit on my bench when I'm making things and I just want to hold something. So anyway, that's it. Thanks for sticking with me through this project, and like I said, I hope you really enjoyed it. Thanks for watching. Bye bye.